Now let's turn our attention just a minute here in this video to the SQL Server 2012 software requirements. What operating systems can we install SQL Server 2012 on? Well, keep in mind there's two answers to this question. Number one, the ones I'm going to answer here for you officially are those questions that you're going to be asked on an exam for a production SQL Server 2012 environment. And basically that is going to be any version of Windows Server 2012, which are all going to be 64-bit, or you could put it on Windows Server 2008 Service Pack 2 Edition, either 32 or 64-bit, or Windows Server 2008 R2 with Service Pack 1, which is 64-bit only. So the bottom line, server editions of the operating system from 2008 through all of the 2012 editions. Now, let me back up here. If you're just trying to install SQL Server on a computer to get some hands-on with it, if you're doing SQL Server Enterprise, you'll have to have Windows Server 2008 through 2012. If you're using Business Intelligence, again, that's going to be the Windows Server editions. If you're using the SQL Server Standard Edition, you can go all the way back to Vista. So you can install that on Windows Vista with Service Pack 2, 32 or 64-bit. You can do it on Windows Server 2008. You can do Windows 7, 32 or 64-bit, as long as you have Service Pack 1 on Windows 7. You can do Windows 8, 32-bit or 64-bit, and you'll have to have Professional Edition for the 32-bit. And then you can use, again, Windows Server 2008 or 2012. Hope I hadn't confused you with this, but just wanted you to know, bottom line, if you have an operating system that's a Windows operating system and you have SQL Server 2012, try to install it, see if it'll take it. On Standard, it probably will. On Enterprise, maybe not. So anyway, I'm showing you this stuff, though, on the screen here because you could see a question about this on the exam, the 70-463 exam, although it's highly unlikely they're going to go very far into hardware or software requirements, but we'll put it here just in case. Now, for the .NET Framework, you'll have to have both the 3.5 Service Pack 1 and the Framework 4.0 installed. If you don't have that, it will install it for you. Windows PowerShell requires PowerShell 2.0. The SQL Server support tools and software that you will need, you'll need the SQL Server native client, the SQL setup support files. You'll have to have at least Windows Installer 4.5, and then for Internet Explorer you'll have to have IE 7 or later. So that's pretty much what you're looking at on software requirements. In a production environment, it's important that you have those server operating systems. If you're just kind of to get hands-on, use SQL Server Standard, and you can put it on virtually any Windows operating system just to play with it and get familiar. Now, I've also, again, I've mentioned I've loaded all these software things, Vista, Windows 7, Windows 8, Server 2008, and Server 2012 in virtual environments, especially VMware Fusion and Workstation. Didn't have any problem whatsoever. So anyway, there's your official software requirements and some tips on some other things you can do to kind of walk through the class here.